What it do, cuckolds? It's your boy the Hater up in this space. And like it or not, we gotta do a Money in the Bank review. Now, the Hater watched the event. And when I say watch the event, obviously, I mean I watched most of the event. There's obviously certain things like the women's Money in the Bank that I obviously just skipped. You know what I mean? I skipped the majority of it, you know? But as usual, I'm going to be honest and fair with my reviews and not biased at all. The event completely sucked, all right? Let's get to it. First up, we have the Money in the Bank ladder match for the men's championship match. Now, here's the thing. As this match was happening, I thought to myself, wow, what a great match. It was legitimately a good match. There were several spots in this match that I thought were actually amazing. Specifically, there was a spot when Andrade did essentially a reverse Spanish fly, like springboard style, to Carmelo Hayes onto a ladder. Now, the spot didn't make any sense because it's like, why would you do this? You know what I mean? Why would anyone do this at all? Hurt themselves this much when you can just throw the guy instead. But considering that the spot was done, it was a great spot. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before in my life. Anyways, beyond that, there were many other little spots and little moments in the match. There was a moment where Chad Gable was just suplexing the hell out of everyone. There was a point during this suplex spot, if you will, where he grabs a ladder and he German suplexes a ladder, which was really stupid, right? It was just like, but it could be explained away by the fact that this guy is just very suplex happy. You know, Carmelo Hayes, I thought, did a really good job. Kid's very athletic. He's very small, but very athletic. There was a lot in this match, long story short, that was good. LA Knight took a few bumps, did a few moves. Everyone kind of shined. Drew McIntyre and Jey Uso were the last people standing. I would have wanted Chad Gable to win. There was a great spot where Chad Gable is hanging from the carabiner, right? And he can't get the title because that's just how it's played out, right? Chad Gable falls, he just falls flat on his stomach from the carabiner. And then he gets speared by Jey Uso, who starts climbing the ladder. And Drew McIntyre throws a ladder at him, hits the Claymore when they're on the ground, and goes and gets the contract. Now, one thing that I will note in this match, unlike other ladder matches, there was very, very little, missteps in this match, right? There weren't any moments where someone is slowly climbing the ladder. Everyone climbed the ladder at a reasonable pace. You know, there was a point where the Money in the Bank contract was swinging, so that kind of added a lot to, the whole waiting up there for the swing to kind of, pull back towards you, right? It was better than the old school, climbing the ladder really slowly to give the guy an opportunity. It was well done, right? This is while I was watching the match. In hindsight, this match goes down as the worst match I've ever seen ever, right? Because unlike any other match that I've ever seen, literally any other match, this match had absolutely no purpose at all, right? As we're going to see later on in this review, cuckolds. The match was really, really stupid in hindsight, but we'll get to that in a bit. Next up, we have Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker, which was one of the worst matches I've ever seen. I did skip around this match because, it wasn't a squash match, and it kind of bored me, if I'm being completely honest, right? The fact that Sami Zayn is being presented as a legitimate champion is absurd. Several times throughout the match, Michael Cole kept saying, Sami Zayn is a strategist. What are you talking about? He's a fucking retard. I don't want to hear this Sami Zayn is a master strategist. He had no strategy at all. As a matter of fact, this match ended like every other Sami Zayn match ends, right? Sami Zayn overcomes the odds and is able to do the haluva kick. But this match, it was just atrocious. Basically, Braun Breaker does the little press slam into the power slam. The fucking gorilla press into the power slam. And he goes to the corner to get ready for a spear. He starts running towards Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn does the worst kick I've ever seen in my life. If anyone here has seen The Next Karate Kid, starring Pat Morita as Mr. Miyagi and Hilary Swank as his next pupil, there's a part where an aging Pat Morita has to do a stunt basically, and he's fighting the, not Crease, but it's basically the Crease of that movie. I don't think it was Crease, but it was a very Crease-like character, right? And basically he does this kick to beat him up, and it's the worst kick I've ever seen in my life. It was just a horrible kick. That was the worst kick ever until Sami Zayn does his kick in this match. It was just atrocious the way that this kick happened, right? And Braun Breaker was forced to sell it like, like something was happening to him, right? It was like the lightest kick ever. He didn't raise his leg above like, a 90-degree angle. It was just atrocious all ways around. But this kick was enough to discombobulate Braun Breaker enough to where he's like trying to gather himself at the turnbuckle. He gets the haluva kick and gets pinned clean. Complete garbage. One of the worst matches I've ever seen in my life. Triple H really fucked this one up too. At some point, I don't remember when it happened, John Cena comes out, motherfucks. And John Cena basically is massively over. And he basically says that this is like the last year of Cena, right? Cena's like 47, so it makes sense. He's going to retire at WrestleMania, basically. Hopefully he wins this meaningless title, like the World Heavyweight title there, to beat Ric Flair's record. It barely counts because like this title hasn't been established yet as like a legitimate title. Like even the Universal title, like honestly, until Brock Lesnar won it, it wasn't really established as a world title. But hopefully Cena gets a 17th. That'd be nice to see. This is not even if he doesn't, it's not the absolute end of Cena, right? Like, don't be surprised if at 52, John Cena comes back and does what The Rock is doing now. You know what I mean? So it's not over yet, but this is the John Cena farewell tour. The last time is now. Instead of my time is now. Think about that. We went from my time is now when he was just starting out to the last time is now, motherfucks. What a career. But he just gets a promo saying all this. He's massively over. It doesn't matter. Next up, we have the stupid-ass Damian Priest Seth Rollins match. This match was a 0 out of 10 as well. There's two reasons why. One, during the actual match, which starts off as a singles match, you can see where this is going, cucks. Damian Priest basically counters the Seth Rollins superplex into the Falcon Arrow. He counters it and tries to lift Seth Rollins, who counters it again and hits the Falcon Arrow, right? The referee is right there counting. 1, 2, Damian Priest is supposed to kick out. He doesn't. He completely misses his cue. This was inexcusable, right? This is what the Triple H era is about. This is what all these good wrestlers are all about. He completely misses it as if he were Kyrie Sane, right? It's almost like this guy is just too stupid to be able to do his job, right? Like, all my respect that I had for Damian Priest went down the shitter now. This guy needs to be fired. I mean, let's be completely honest. You cannot miss such an opportunity as actually having a quasi-main event match on pay-per-view. This guy didn't kick out at 3. Now, it is what it is. Maybe he thought that was the first count, right? And then he thought that count 2 was actually count number 1 and so forth, right? If you're not sure, you kick out at 1, right? It wasn't even a finisher. He didn't kick out at all. He didn't move at all, motherfucks. This was such a big botch that I don't want to hear ever again about how, like, John Cena only has 4 moves. John Cena has never not kicked out, motherfucks. John Cena, Kurt Angle, anyone that's ever been good has never failed at this catastrophic of a level as fucking Damian Priest did, right? The referee is made to look like a fucking retard because the referee's counting and the referee's like, shit, I'm the only one here who knows what the fuck is going on. Seth Rollins doesn't do anything to kind of like, at the very last second, just kind of like, I don't know, sell an injury or something to make it seem as if he let go of the pin, right? The wrestlers are doing nothing in this match, right? Seth Rollins also needs to take accountability. Obviously, this was more so a Damian Priest issue. It goes without saying, right? But Seth Rollins, when it gets to like 2.9, I've seen this before on random-ass TV matches where people are like, oh shit, like the person's not in to like interfere yet, and they do something else, like the person pinning like, sells like an injured arm or something, and like, oh, and then you hear like JR being like, he couldn't hold on to the leg, King, and then like, the idea is, oh, he didn't kick out, but like the pin didn't work out, right? Seth Rollins doesn't do any of this because he fucking sucks too. And then Damian Priest, it goes without saying, the referee, the only man here who knows what the fuck he's doing, has to stop at 2, and he looks like an asshole, right? Seth Rollins is like, why didn't you count to 3? What, are you retarded? Like, now you're selling the referee fucked up? No, dumbass. Just pretend that the referee did count to 2 and be like, I can't believe it's only 2. But he was looking at the ref like, why did you make this mistake? It's not his mistake. It's the mistake of Damian Priest and then secondarily Seth Rollins. It was complete garbage, right? Luckily, this moment is put under the rug immediately because Drew McIntyre's music's hit, right? Drew McIntyre's music hits, cucks. He comes out, cashes in. Full-blown cash-in. Turns it into a triple threat. Horrible idea, horrible execution, horrible everything. You should have just waited until the match was over, then done it, right? Drew McIntyre's whooping that ass, hits the claymores, He's countering, he's doing shit. CM Punk comes out of nowhere, whoops his ass, right? CM Punk starts beating him, beats him with the title. At the end, Drew McIntyre gets chokeslammed by fucking, what's it called? By Damian Priest, who, after pinning Drew McIntyre, looks disappointed, as he should be, because in my personal opinion, he should be fired immediately. At the very least, the title should change hands on Raw. Like, straight up, there is no room for any of this anymore. The experiment, the Damian Priest experiment, has categorically failed. Damian Priest is shit, motherfucks. He's not good at his job, and the anger that I have as a fan, like, Triple H should have an anger like that times 1,000. But because Triple H is a pussy, he's probably not going to have any anger. We're going to see this garbage continue. Oh, repétame, el campeón. Shut up, el jobber. Fuck out of here, jabroni. But anyways, this segment, if you count everything that I just said, was complete shit. Now we have to take a moment here to reconcile the first match, the Money in the Bank match, with this third segment, right? Basically, long story short, the Money in the Bank match had no meaningful nature whatsoever because the Money in the Bank has already been cleared out, right? There is no Mr. Money in the Bank this year, basically, because Drew McIntyre already cashed in. Now, if CM Punk was going to screw him, right, wouldn't it be enough to just do a regular-ass push-the-ladder screw job? Drew McIntyre is about to get the title. CM Punk comes from out of the ring, pushes the ladder, hits the GTS or just beats him severely, and then Chad Gable wins, right? And then I don't give a fuck. You can have Chad Gable cash in unsuccessfully. I don't care. Do whatever the fuck you want. But at least you get the opportunity to have someone be Money in the Bank. You get 1 year, potentially, of wondering when someone's going to cash in. I don't give a shit about the women's Money in the Bank. Nobody really does because all the women become WWE champions. But the men's Money in the Bank has that possibility, right? But instead, Triple H basically said, let's not have a Money in the Bank this year. And everything that was achieved could have been achieved by making this a triple threat. Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, and the other guy, fucking Seth Rollins, right? Could have been a triple threat, and CM Punk screws him. Same thing would have been achieved. The fact that he took away his Money in the Bank opportunity is irrelevant because it's done anyways, right? So he could have just screwed him by not letting him win Money in the Bank. It would have been just as big of a deal. Furthermore, there's no need for CM Punk to screw him again. He's screwed him so many times. Drew McIntyre is fucking carrying this feud. There's no situation where Drew McIntyre can start beating the shit out of Punk with a chair like CM Punk did to him. Because if he does, CM Punk might die in real life, motherfucks. CM Punk is a frail bitch. This guy is not athletic. He shouldn't be in wrestling. And all he's done is ruin the Money in the Bank and ruin this entire event, if you ask me, right? So thus far, all we've seen, basically, is a shitty triple threat match where Damian Priest missed his cue completely and CM Punk ruined the rest of the match. And we've seen a shitty Intercontinental title match. I don't even count the Money in the Bank as a match anymore, motherfucks. Next up, we have the women's Money in the Bank. I fast-forwarded through 99% of this. I have no interest in watching this, especially after what just happened. Tiffany Stratton wins. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit. She's the only one here who is not a vast jobber. Chelsea Green is a jobber. Io Sky is a jobber. Lyra Valkyria, no matter how much they try to push her, is a jobber. Naomi is one of the biggest jobbers of all time. And Zoe Stark is just never going to be believable as anything other than a jobber. Right? None of the women here, even if they become 10-time women's champions, they will never, ever, ever, ever draw a dime. Like, Chelsea Green has never drawn a dime in her life. I like Chelsea Green as much as the next guy, but she does not draw any money. Lyra Valkyria is shit. You know what I'm saying? All these women are garbage. Also, Tiffany Stratton looks like a fucking pig, motherfucks. I'm not saying she's ugly. I'm saying she literally looks like a pig. Like, if you wanted Miss Piggy to be a person, you would make her Tiffany Stratton. Huskus the pig should be played by Tiffany Stratton. She just comes out and is all like bloated and shit. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, she's not fat, but she's bloated. She's got these huge fake tits. Her face is like fucking, it looks like a football, but turned sideways. She's just got this big pan face, right? And she just doesn't look good. I don't know what it is. Like, I was watching, and my fiance is like, this girl's a pig. And she doesn't speak this way. My fiance is a classy lady. But she was like, this girl's a pig. Like, let me look at her. Like, she's just big, And I'm like, she's not a pig, but, like, I was trying to justify it. But then I'm like, she's fucking right. Like, I mean, she's just like this fat, like, she's not fat, but like she looks like she's fat. It's very, very strange. And then they had a segment where she's talking shit to Trish Stratus, and it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Trish Stratus is better than Tiffany Stratton in any way right now. You know what I mean? Let alone in her prime. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, it was so ridiculous. It was like, Trish Stratus was like, you could be a Hall of Famer, or you could be a flash in the pan. This has flash in the pan written all over it. Like, do you think Bianca Belair is a Hall of Famer? Because that's what Tiffany's career is going to be. Nobody gives a shit. I don't care at all about Tiffany Stratton. She bores me. Then we had the Bloodline versus Team Cucky. Team Cuck. Team R Cuck O, motherfucks. We have Cucky Rhodes, Cucky Owens, and Randy the Cuck Orton. You know what I'm saying? That's with a K for Randy Orton, right? Completely a team of losers. The fact that Randy Orton has to be associated with these dorks is an embarrassment. The members of the Bloodline that decide to participate are fucking Tama Tonga, Solo Sikoa, of course, and Jacob Fatu. Michael Cole is talking about Jacob Fatu as if he's the fucking Undertaker. He's just this fat guy who's like 6'1". You know what I mean? And he's not even fat anymore. Like, they're like, Jacob Fatu is 280 pounds. No, he isn't. No, he is not. Jacob Fatu is like 190 pounds if he's lucky. There's nothing big about him at all. And at a certain point, because of how stupid it sounds to say that like fucking Jacob Fatu is 280 before this, this was like one of the worst things I've ever heard in my life. Corey Graves, I hope everyone else picked up on it. He's like, Randy Orton must be pushing 290, 295. What? Are you fucking retarded? Randy Orton is not 300 pounds, motherfucks. Like, he's not, like, LeBron is not 300 pounds. And LeBron is, like, bigger and stronger and obviously taller than Randy Orton. Are you kidding me? No, he's not 300 pounds. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Just because Randy Orton, who was, like, a light heavyweight the vast majority of his career, Randy Orton is now, like, the biggest guy you got, doesn't mean you can elevate him to increase his weight by, like, 75 pounds. Orton is a hefty 235, right? Maybe he's like 240, 245 at most now that he's like really, really like on some, right? But the rest of these guys are just small. Like fucking Tama Tonga is like 160 pounds. Tama Tonga, it's like, what I was watching with my fiance again this match, and I was like, look at this guy. He's so much smaller than Randy Orton. She's like, no, they're about the same size. And then the camera shifts, and it's Randy Orton beating the shit out of Tama Tonga in the corner, and she's like, yeah, you're right. He's like 3 times his size. 3 times his size, basically, motherfucks. Tama Tonga is a fucking jobber. Tama Tonga, to present Tama Tonga as a tough guy is one of the dumbest things ever. And I will say this. Remember when people were like, oh, Enzo Amore and Tama Tonga are having a feud. And they're like, oh, Enzo better watch out because Tama Tonga is from the streets. Shut the fuck up. Enzo Amore would beat this guy's ass. Enzo Amore is like a foot taller and probably like 30 pounds bigger. You know, we didn't realize how small Tama Tonga was because he's out there wrestling with like Kojima, who's like a man in his 50s, who's like 5'6" and like 200 pounds. And compared to him, Tama Tonga looks big. No, everyone in New Japan is fucking tiny, motherfucks. Like, you have people like fucking, what's his name? Naito. Naito's like a regular dude. Like, you look at Naito, you're like, this is like a guy you'd see at Dream Wizards playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Right? This guy is like, there's nothing about him. He's like a neckbeard. He's like shaped like a neckbeard. You know, he's like not athletic at all. Right? So New Japan is just a bunch of jobbers. So then when you have someone like Okada, they're like, oh, this guy looks like a star. No, he doesn't. He doesn't look like a star compared to Randy Orton. He looks like a star compared to Tama Tonga, but so does everybody, motherfucks. Everybody looks like a star compared to Tama Tonga. Tama Tonga is like, he represents a new low for like someone that can be in a main event. But Jacob Fatu, they kept pushing this idea that Jacob Fatu is like dangerous, right? And it's like, he's like the same size and shape as Kevin Owens, right? Kevin Owens is like, Kevin Owens, I think they introduced him at being like 230 or something, 225. Like, they introduced him as being really small because he's obviously lost a lot of weight, right? And it's like, and he has like no muscle definition. Like, Kevin Owens has no muscle definition. Like, I'm pretty sure if I was like, if I were to like arm wrestle, let's say Kevin Owens, I would whoop his ass. Like, I have no doubt in my mind, right? Kevin Owens has no muscle definition and he's 220. He looks just like Tama Tonga, who's 285. What, like, you think we're stupid? So basically, the team of small, fat Samoans, right, come out there and they pretty much lay the smackdown on the team of stars, which is not stars, it's just regular-ass dudes. There was a part where Jacob Fatu does the ass to the corner thing, and Corey Graves, who clearly has been watching The Hater, because he also stole The Hater's catchphrase, the facts are the facts, motherfucks, but he also said this, we've seen dozens of people do this move, right? Basically alluding to the fact that the Samoans have the same fucking moveset. or as the hater has called it before, the Samoan moveset. Now, for all of you, I'm not saying that Corey Graves actually watches me, motherfucks. You know what I mean? Would it be a shock? Absolutely not. But the truth is, like, he pointed out the same things that I pointed out. Number one, and I really did when he said the facts of the facts. I'm like, who is this guy, the hater? You know what I'm saying? But more importantly, like, he pointed out that the Samoans all have the same moves, right? Somebody has to point it out. He's like, oh, another ass to the corner. Oh, wow. Jacob Fatu is fantastic. He did a Samoan drop, an ass to the corner, and that's basically it. And as a result of the numbers game, the two Samoans and the one Tongan are able to beat Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes takes the fucking, Samoan spike and gets pinned. Something else may have happened. I did kind of fall asleep during this match, I'm not going to lie. So the match was nothing special. Nothing has been advanced. And now they can just have Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa, and really we can just accept the reality that this is the reality now. The Triple H era is Solo Sikoa potentially main eventing at SummerSlam. Solo Sikoa, who was a North American champion, who barely beat Carmelo Hayes. These are like, we are now moving to regular ass people. You know, we've been making this joke for a while, but in the Ruthless Aggression era, even though you had some regular dudes, you still had some big dudes. Obviously, you had Batista, Orton now, Cena, The Miz. The Miz would beat the shit out of all the entire Samoan family, you know. And but they want us to believe, they're like, oh, Jacob Fatu, Triple H had to pull strings to get him into Canada. So what? Canada is notorious about not letting convicts in. You know, any kind of conviction, you might have trouble. At DUI, you might have trouble getting into Canada. They try to make like Jacob Fatu seem like this tough guy, like more tougher than he is. He's just a regular dude. I don't see anything there that impresses me. Like, he's more muscular than the average Samoan, because the average Samoan has never lifted a weight. There's a bunch of fat nobodies. You know what I mean? Like, once in a while you get like a Roman Reigns or a Rock, right? But it's, you know, and it's kind of strange. Like, I've noticed that like all of these like the more Samoan they are, the more jobberish they are, right? Like Roman Reigns, I think he's like half Italian or something. The Rock is like half Canadian and half, like, you know, his father, Rocky Johnson, obviously wasn't a small man. You know what I mean? So it's like when you have full Samoans, they're either fat or skinny. Like they don't do anything. You know what I mean? And again, not a slight against Samoans. I know there's big ass motherfuckers. There's tough Samoans. There's no doubt about it. You know what I'm saying? Troy Polamalu, the guy, what's the guy's name? He played for Baltimore. Ngata, yeah, Haloti Ngata. Like, that guy's a fucking machine. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are people out there, no doubt about it. I'm talking about the wrestling Samoans, and specifically the Anoa'i family, the annoying family. You know what I mean? So yeah, I didn't enjoy this event at all. I thought it was going to be mid, but I'm glad I did not do this review last night, because doing it today makes me really realize how shit this event was. Cucks.